Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the Queers of Time podcast.
I'm Matt.
I'm James.
I'm Kenny.
And I'm Kat.
And this is a podcast to talk about all the gay stuff in the Wheel of Time.
Because we're gay and we like the Wheel of Time.
And as always, thank you to our fellow venerator of Semirhage, Lux, Charlie, and John. Thank you very much for the support.
Yay, thank you.
Do you have someone to start an intro, or are we just...
Today on the the Queers of Time.
Today on the Wheel of Time.
Today on the Wheel of Time, some very tired people are going to be talking about a book that is about some very tired people, but they're tired in the sense that they're fighting evil and fighting dark one pussies. I don't know, God.
Okay, so Matt's
What
not
is
here
going
today.
on, Matt?
Boy, there's a lot happening.
So Matt's
Like,
having
I
a
thought-
day.
I thought I was tired because I didn't sleep much like 2 nights ago for something stupid.
Welcome to Matt Brain.
Okay, so in this episode of the Queers of Time, we're going to be discussing episodes. We're going to be discussing chapters 22 to 25 of The Wheel of Time, The Gathering Storm, written by Robert Jordan and Brandon Sanderson. There's a few good chapters, and then there's one stupid chapter that has Gawyn in it. And we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about that stupid chapter, and the rest of the time talking about the good chapters, and that's about it.
Yeah, we are doing 4 chapters today compared to 3 usually, which is nice. So I'm guessing this episode may be a bit longer than usually, but that's fine.
The chapters are pretty, they're not super beefy.
Yeah,
They're
to be
like,
fair, that's
yeah.
true.
Yeah, there were 2 regular chapters and 2 short chapters, so...
The first 2 chapters slap through.
They're
So they're amazing. So we may have things to talk about them. I have very detailed, description of the chapter. I don't know whether I should go through them, read them, or...
Let's each do a dramatic reading.
What? Me doing a dramatic reading? Or... So
You
anyway...
can do a dramatic reading.
Okay.
Did you write these?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That sounded so judgmental.
No, it wasn't judgmental. It was just like, where do you find the time to do this? Because I don't have time to do this.
Okay. Listeners don't know, but this episode got rescheduled twice.
That's
We
true.
were supposed to read this chapter for 10 days ago,
It's because of Gawyn.
Very true.
and we were all too busy for that.
It's too busy or sick or other
Yeah.
various
Hey,
things.
we made it. We
We
made
did it. Good for us.
And I just read the chapters in the last hour, so...
Look at that.
Hey, at least you read them. That's already great. Did you read the good the proper chapters? Then you're fine. It's
Yes.
it's a really good thing. So anyway, the first chapter, chapter 22, the last that could be done. It starts with a POV from Semirhage. So the thing is that I like writing. No, I don't like writing either, but I also don't like reading. Reading out loud.
Do you want me to read it?
No, I can try it. It just,
Okay.
I feel like I need to practice reading out loud because I'm not great at that. So anyway, as she's reeling from the respect she lost due to Katsuane, Semirhage is visited by Shaida Haran, who gives her one last chance. Her shield is removed and she leaves her cell to find the Aes Sedai that were containing her unconscious, taken care of by another Aes Sedai, the Black Aja Elsa, who's apparently under compulsion that needs to be removed. I didn't really understood that part. I don't remember it. And that sister gives her the male Adam. So we get this very small POV from Semirhage. And I don't know about you, but I found it super silly and I don't know why.
It doesn't, her POV doesn't match the because we've gotten a couple POVs from her before in earlier books, and it doesn't match with this one because I noticed the same thing.
Yeah.
And the only conclusion that I can draw is that this is the one that a certain someone was involved in writing.
Sanderson can't write black women.
Oh boy, we're going there today.
I mean, I wasn't gonna say that, but
I think it just, he can't write woman. It sounds so silly because it's like, how had she lost control so quickly? And I'm like, that doesn't sound like someone who is several thousand years old.
Exactly. It sounded almost like she sounded almost childish. Like almost like naive almost. And I'm just
she sounded very petulant.
Yeah, like it doesn't track with who we know Semirhage is.
She's
like
Dollar Tree Semirhage.
Yeah, essentially. In this chapter, yeah, she is. Like it's when
this POV, I would say, because the rest of the chapters, when you don't get into her head, she's good, she's terrifying. Here, she's half like the part when she's thinking about what she's gonna do to Katsuane. It sounds like mustache twirling villain.
Yeah, it's very childlike.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she is not. It's glaring because she is not a child. Like if it had been one of the other Forsaken, then maybe I could possibly buy it, depending on who it was. But just from what we know of Semirhage and what we've gotten before of Semirhage, this does not track. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
And then Shaidar Hahan shows up. Freezer.
Which, I mean, Shaidar Hahan is, like, terrifying. Yeah. And I think that came across really well.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It feels like showing characters who are terrifying. That's something that Sanderson can do. We can be in the POV of someone who is terrified by someone else. We apparently can't be in the POV of someone who's terrifying. I don't know. It's there's this thing that bothered me a little bit, but it's also like 4 pages, so I mean that's fine. Whatever. Yeah,
it's something that I've noticed, and I could be remembering wrong because it's been a minute since I've read any of the books from the Stormlight Archive. Most of the villains in that series are not like as serious as Semirhage is. At least, like there's a little bit more
mustache twirling.
Yeah, like it's like they just there isn't the same like Semirhage is very blunt, and like what Semirhage does is like very. It's almost like
she's cold,
procedural. Yeah, like there's a coldness to her. There's like she's a surgeon. Like it's very like I can't even think. Like it's very academic. Like it's very.
She's kind of, for example, looking at torture with like from a very above point of view. Like
clinical.
It's very clinical. That's a great term of it.
That's exactly the word I was trying to think of.
And clinical is not how you would describe her in that POV.
No.
But well, it is what it is.
She's like a fanfic of Semirhage.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I can't be super mad at Sanderson, I guess, just because, like, I get that it was his responsibility, but at the same time, it's his turn, like, writing. It's his first time 100%. Writing a character like this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I can't get too mad at him, but at the same time, I'm like, just so you know, you fucked up a little bit.
Yeah. And to be clear, I think anytime when it's not her POV and it's like Rand and Min and whatnot reacting to her, great. Excellent. It made me actually sad that we didn't get more of her. Like I wanted more of people reacting to Semirhage because she is terrifying. Rightly so. Like it's great.
Yeah. And in that rest of the chapter, we moved on to a POV from Rand. So it starts with Rand being in Saldia, visiting the Blight and noticing its progress. He leaves part of his army there, led by Hitirald, to fight Trollocs Patrol and whatever may come from the Blight, while Bashir will go back to Aradamant to bring peace there. Rand then takes a getaway to Aradamant, to Lord Telain Manors, whatever, where he and Min have been staying. So there's some side conversation with Lusterin Telemann that suggests that Min is indeed right about the need to break the seals. But Lusterin can't provide any further information on what went wrong the first time around. once Rand is with Min, they chat about how he shouldn't be so hard. Min reveals that Katsuane is worried, which triggers Rand very quickly. Like, he gets so paranoid, suspicious about it.
Yeah.
Paranoid, exactly. And somehow he realizes he may be too harsh indeed. And right at that time, the servant in the room reveals herself as Semirhage, who collars him with a male Adam, just as Elsa also shows up. Semirhage then forces Rand to torture Min with the power, then to strangle her. Before he kills her, Rand manages to channel the true power. He breaks the Adam and balefires both Semirhage and Elsa. Completely broken by the experience, Rand reveals to Min that he cannot afford flexibility anymore. From Steel, he must move on to Cuendillar. That chapter slapped. And
it was a very good chapter.
Scary.
Yeah, it was. It was
really well written. The pacing was really, really good. I enjoyed the conversation between Rand and Lews Therin about the seals. Like, I highlighted a little bit about that. Just kind of like Rand having that conversation with Lews Therin and trying to get more information. Like, it's slowly teased out of the last few books.
Yeah.
Until we finally get there. And this is like one of the good bits of it. So I really enjoyed that.
He's getting more pieces of the sort of puzzle that he needs in order to, you know, have a good attack plan going forward. And it's nice when, you know, Lews Therin is, I guess, lucid enough.
Daddy's lucid today.
Yeah, exactly.
Not today. So. This 5 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
30 seconds of lucidity and then it's done.
Exactly. And then it's gone. And just like, it's always this question of like, is Lews Therin not answering Rand's question because he genuinely doesn't know the answer? Or is he like, is there intent behind him withholding this is he withholding information? You know, I remember wondering that the first time I read this. I'm like, I just can't tell. And sometimes it's both. Like, you know.
One thing I'm curious about is that whether when he's thinking about like specific thing, whether it actually triggers Lews Therin and triggers his like craziness in a way. So it's like you have to navigate which question are not going to completely make the man mad. And the more he asks about the boar, the more it's, Yeah,
you have to tread lightly with Lews Therin. Like, you can't ask very intense questions and expect him to react normally.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He hasn't had therapy today.
Yeah, Daddy doesn't talk about his time in the war.
100. That's exactly the vibe, though.
Daddy Lews, have you ever killed a man?
Oh my god.
Have you ever killed your wife?
Oh no.
I did have my sad boy moment came up here because it was so sad to me, like genuinely sad a little bit. Before Rand gets to the manor house, he's thinking about his father, Tam, and Janduin, his birth father. But then he goes, at times, Rand longed for Tam's voice, his wisdom. Those were the times when Rand knew he had to be the most hard. For a moment of weakness, a moment running for to his father for succor. Is it succor? Succor? Matt, I'm looking at you.
You're muted.
Succor, sorry.
Succor?
Yeah, succor. It's a fucking...
Anyway.
I hate that word so much.
Rand knew that he had to be his most hard. For a moment of weakness, a moment running to his father for succor would destroy nearly everything he had worked for, and it would most likely mean the end of Tam's life as well. And it just made me sad because, well, I mean, we know how this book ends, but it's a journey to get there.
Yeah. Like there were a couple moments where I was just like, "Oh, Rand." It's
sad,
so sad.
boy.
Lots of sad boy moments.
I think, like, especially the first part of his POV showed an aspect of Rand that was very, I won't say calculator, but it's not the word in English, I think, but like he makes decisions. Yeah, calculated.
Yeah.
Like, for example, when he's deciding to send Bashari's army in Arad and Ituralid army on the borderland. And he has this whole reflection about how it's, yes, both of those men are going to have a harder time in the places they have to go because that's not where they're from, and they would have an easier job in their home country. But in their home countries, there's a higher risk of them like getting too much power in a way, and are getting too bold with respect to respecting him. So he can't afford that. So he's making those kind of cold decisions based on how can he trust people. And he's really at a stage where he doesn't trust a lot of people. Min is among the few. And when Min starts talking about Katsuane, like he almost doesn't trust her anymore.
Yeah, he's this chapter, he's really teetering, even with Min, like he's really, like you said, he's really teetering on that edge of like, oh, I don't trust anyone. And like, it's, you know, some of it is partially justified because of, you know, traumatic things that have happened in his past. And he has, I think, a valid reason to be a little bit paranoid, but obviously there are other things going on that are influencing his paranoia, I think. And it's really at its, and man, it's excellent, both excellent writing and also so unfortunate that the moment where he like says, you know, maybe I do need to chill out a bit. That's the moment where Semirhage is like, it's my time.
It's my time to shine or glow. I don't know the effects of balefire.
Mm-hmm.
That's so sad. This chapter is full of sad boy moments. There's also like something that he says to Min when she keeps asking him to laugh. She hasn't heard him laugh in a while. And he's like, is this really a time for laughter? You would have me be happy while children starve and men slaughter one another. I should laugh to hear that Trollocs are still getting through the ways. I should be happy that the majority of the Forsaken are still out there somewhere plotting how to best kill me. And I'm like, especially the part about the starving children and this kind of thing, it's like, yes, there's shit stuff going on in the world, but that doesn't mean you can't enjoy still the tiny moments in a way. Like, even in, like, especially when these days where there's so many dark things going on in the world and we are always constantly aware of them because internet and like this obsession for that the world is doomed and whatever. It's like, you still have to force yourself to enjoy the moments, like the tiny moments. Otherwise, like, why are you still around? What's the point?
I think it's almost more important to find those tiny moments to enjoy when shit gets bad. Because, you know.
But also, like, since he's the Dragon Reborn, it's like, he can't even ask himself, well, what's the point if I can't even love? Because, yeah, the point is for me to die at the last battle and to do whatever my job is and basta, and that's it. And it's like, that's so fucking sad, man.
It is. Yeah, and he's like, even when he was like the sad part that really stood out to me was when he's thinking about Emmons Field, when he's thinking about his home. So it's like, beyond them and to the south, so strangely close lay Emmons Field and the two rivers, a home he would never see again, for a visit would only alert his enemies to his affection for it. He had worked hard to make them think he was a man without affection. At times he feared that his ruse had become reality. Oh my god, man.
Poor baby boy.
So sad. Jeez. Oof. Yeah.
And then, yes, Semirhage attack.
Mm-hmm.
I did find it very funny that she put the collar on Rand and then immediately started this monologue while Min is still there, able to do shit. And it was like, girl, why are you doing a half-baked job? Like...
But also, like, it didn't even strike me as odd because, like, Semirhage... I think she probably didn't even think of Min as a problem.
Right.
And that's, like, she didn't even factor... Like, you know what I mean? Like, she was like, what's she gonna do?
She doesn't have power.
Her little knives? Okay. Yeah.
She just thought Min was a sexy lamp.
Oh.
She's not.
But, you know, like, she seems, like, mildly annoyed when Min's dagger, like, you know, like, when it sliced her across, I think it was her cheek or something like that. And she's just like, oh, okay, well, this is annoying, which she's Semirhage. It makes sense that she would be, you know, Why would she care?
And then,
Trauma.
Gosh.
More trauma.
I'm reaching that, like, I'm reading that, and it's like, yeah, the fact that she's pushing Rand to channel against Min and then to stop channeling and strangle her. Boy, that was rough to read.
That was hard to read. That was a lot.
Yeah, it's bad. It was bad. I'm like, and this is gonna sound very simplistic, but I was like, this is so mean. And I know, like, mean is like, it's such a simple, like, it's cruel. But like, that was the first thing that popped into my mind. I'm like, Semirhage, this is why. Just let him kill her. Like, just.
But she likes torture.
She does. Yeah, she's all about this shit.
Yeah. And there's like Lusterin crying like about how they're in the box again. And suddenly he could see it. The black confines crushing him. His body sore from repeat beatings, his mind fronting to remain sane. Lusterin had been his only companion. It just, the whole pages is like, he stopped screaming. The pain was still there. It made his eyes water, but the screams would not come. All felt still. It really felt like his brain broke.
Yeah.
There's a before and after in this chapter. And he says it. It's the sentence about the Cuendillar. Like, I read that and I was like, oh.
Yeah. It really did feel like it could have gone, either way. Like, this could have been his ultimate breaking point, or we would have gotten what ended up happening. And this was like, I mean, it was a breaking point, but positive? Huh? Min's not dead. Yay. Like, he doesn't have that trauma, but like, still not good. Still bad.
So it channels the true power, which was interesting. Is that the first time he channeled it, or... No? Okay, I don't remember before.
No, he channels the true power and Shale Ghoul as well, I think.
Yes.
Don't ask me. Because I don't remember shit.
Oh, it was channeling the true power over there? Okay.
I think that's right.
That wasn't Shale Ghoul, that was Shadar Logoth.
Shadar Logoth, right. I'm sorry, I get those two mixed up all the time. When does Rand first channel the true power?
Something snap inside of him.
Okay, the AI... overview of Google.
I hate it.
It's so bad.
I hate it.
Rand al'Thor first appears to be able to channel the true power in Chapter 22 of The Great Sage.
Oh my god.
The Great Sage.
Great Sage.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my god.
The Great Sage.
The Great Sage.
Oh boy.
Maybe it's the Gathering Storm because we are in Chapter 22.
It could
be. Gathering Sage.
So maybe this... No, he does it before now.
He has to do it before now.
He does. He uses Balefire before now, doesn't he?
Balefire, yes, but the true power.
The true power. Oh, so maybe that's what I'm getting. Maybe that's what I'm getting confused in my brain.
See, I thought this was the first time that he had the true power.
I felt like it was the first time.
I think my brain. So I think this might be the first time he uses it, and my brain is just assuming that he's used it before because he's used Balefire before. But that's.
He uses Balefire in like the Shadow Rising or something.
Yes.
Yeah. That addiction starts early.
Oh, yeah.
From Terryland, so that one is reliable. As of chapter 22 of The Gathering Storm, Rand al'Thor appears to be capable of channeling the true power. So it feels
Sage.
like
the Great Sage.
The Great Sage. I'm sure that Google AI just looked at TGS. What could TGS mean?
What did this mean?
TGS book.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic.
One of my notes did mention, like, I don't remember exactly where in the chapters it is, but Rand does think about, I will not kill a woman. And I just
so
thought,
stupid.
You stupid fuck.
It was so stupid.
Stupid asshole. Like, I could not believe it. Was it when Semirhage was literally, like, attacking, like, was it after the thing got put on him?
I can't remember what it was.
He was still like, I'm not gonna kill. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? You need to.
It's that old Southern chivalry that just needs to stop.
You need to get the fuck over yourself, my guy. This can't be. This is not it.
It's like, I feel like it's even worse because he's being tortured and his thought about is about how she will not take away from him his conviction of not killing a woman. I'm like, dude, you're in a war. She's torturing you. She's gonna kill your girlfriend. Maybe you should do something about that and get rid of the misogyny that making you making you say that you should not kill a woman. A woman can be killed too, especially when she's an asshole like Semirhage.
It's okay to kill women.
It's okay.
It's okay. Women are disposable.
That's what we're saying.
I found the place.
Times say
women are disposable.
Disposable. There you go. Perfect.
That's the title. We at the Queers of Time say women are disposable.
Women are disposable characters.
Just make sure to quote the quotor and not all of us. I don't want to get canceled on Blue Sky. I just got established on there.
Established? Oh, that's a big word.
I know. Look, I'm tired. I'm not wording right now.
He's like, bitch, you think you're established? Okay.
I know.
Okay, girl.
I found the place where he talks about the woman. Use it, Sheriam whispered. Kill her while we can. I will not kill a woman, Rand thought stubbornly, a figment of a memory back from the back of his mind. That is the line I will not cross. I'm like, man.
And then 5 pages later, murder.
Murder.
Super
fire.
But two.
Super murders.
Mm-hmm.
Super murders.
And also threatens to murder yet another woman.
Yep.
So
that's in the next chapter.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's like...
Bodies everywhere.
Bodies was a good movie.
I do not know that movie, but...
I didn't watch it.
What movie is that? Is it scary? It sounds scary.
It's a horror. It's a comedy horror.
And so there's also my sad boy moment in it I mentioned, but I will read the full quote. Where he had once been still, he became something else. From now on, he was Cuendillar.
Unfortunate.
Anyway.
And apparently Cuendillar can kill women, so...
There we go.
Is that why Egwene was making Cuendillar for...
to kill all those women.
to kill all those women.
Yeah, she was getting ready for some women killing, so it's fine. Good for her.
Girl boss.
Gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss, genocide.
Genocide. Do we have something else on that chapter 22, or can I read my
No, it was a good chapter.
Great chapter.
Yes.
A few tiny silly things, but overall, it slapped. And it was terrifying. And sad. Anyway, chapter 23, A Warp in the Air. This is a chapter with Katsuane's point of view. And ouch. Katsuane, who had been out of the manor to visit the wise ones in their tent, discovers what happened in her absence. She goes to check on Rand, asking for details of what happened. Instead, Rand teaches Narishma the Bellfire Weave, explaining that this must be how Forsaken are killed to prevent their return. Katsuane protests that he's a child playing with what he doesn't understand, to which he retorts that he's thousands of years her elder. Rand then accuses Katsuane of negligence for letting the male Adam fall into the hand of Semirhage, then exiles her. Katsuane tries to protest, as does Min, but realizes that he has changed into a dangerous and hard man that will kill her if she doesn't leave. So she leaves. It's, to me, it feels like, I don't think you are angry at the right person.
Oh,
projection, sweetie.
He's not. He is, Rand is, projection is absolutely right. He is feeling horribly, all of the guilt, and he is putting it onto someone else. And the thing is, it doesn't need to be put onto anyone else. Nobody is necessarily at fault here.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be put on anybody. This is a thing that just happened because, the world's a shitty place and the evil people are out to get you, and they're gonna get you, honey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had, Semirhage was protected, but who expects a fucking scary-ass Murdral to come in and,
Who expects the literal avatar of the Dark One to interfere?
Exactly. There's no way.
Sorry, Cadsuane can't protect against that, Rand.
It was a short chapter, but a very interesting one because there's the progression of the chapter is very interesting because first, like Katsuane is kind of investigating what happened and you get a very detective type of mindset of, okay, what happened? Where did we mess up? How can we solve that?
Very Miss Marple.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I do not know that reference, but sure.
Miss Marple.
Agatha Christie.
Agatha Christie.
Yeah, I've read like one Agatha Christie maybe, and that's it. Anyway, so I do not know that character. When she went to see Rand, sure, there's a few sentences that she could have said in a different way. But I feel like she could have said nothing. And Rand before she even showed up, Rand was like, oh, Katsuane must have betrayed me because why would they have the mail item? I mean, he was thinking that already in the previous chapter. And I'm like, dude, this is the people working for the Dark One. Even the best Aes Sedai can't protect like something you want to keep safe in those situations. Bad things are gonna happen. She tried her best.
That's the thing. Like he, as much as Rand thinks that he's figured out how to act going forward, and he's like, this is a solution. I am just going to be hard and cold as fuck. This is the only solution. This is how it has to be. He is still not thinking rationally at all, even though he thinks that he is. And that's trauma. There's nothing, I mean...
And that's trauma.
And that's trauma. What are you going to do? But yeah, it's unfortunate because, like you said, Camille, Cadsuane did not necessarily help things because but that's her. She is blunt and she is very to the point. She does not beat around the bush. And I know that Rand doesn't think this, but he needs someone like that. He needs someone who is not going to coddle him. And I know he thinks that she's like thinking of him as a boy and whatnot, but like, I mean, come on, my guy. Sometimes you act like it.
Rand also doesn't beat around the bush. Like, that's the thing. Like, Rand is also very direct and blunt, and Rand does not like seeing that in someone else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He just beats the bush. That sounds so bad.
Great.
So stupid.
When Rand wants to say something to someone, he's gonna say it and no, not like not use any tact for that. But like, he doesn't understand that he also needs people to be like that to him. Like, thankfully, I think Nynaeve still does that, but she's kind of the only one that is tolerating that in a way.
Nynaeve is the exception for Rand, I think, in a lot of ways. Even more so than Min. I think Nynaeve is like she's kind of at this point she's kind of the only one that can sort of speak to him and get through to him. But yeah.
She's the only one he's scared of.
I wouldn't say scared, but Nynaeve has a way of treating him that reminds him of when he was just a boy from Hammondfield. And while he knows he's not that boy anymore, he kind of misses that. So he both despite and enjoyed that reminder, and he's kind of glad that Nynaeve hasn't changed much in how she's talking to him. Yeah.
And also he has so much respect for her. He respects her so much. And I think that's one of the constant, I mean, it's kind of one of the most constant relationships that he has all throughout the series. And it's, they're kind of separated for a big chunk of time, and that takes an effect on him, I think. It's,
So I think with Nynaeve in particular, he knows Nynaeve very well, and he knows that the way Nynaeve talks to people and talks to people of authority, like, that's how she is. She treats people of authority that way. So so Rand doesn't feel offended when she treats him the same way, because he has seen her like talk to the elder in the village and being like, get your shit together, you're doing a shit thing right there. And so it's fine with Nynaeve being like that with him. He doesn't understand that Katsuane is a bit like that too.
That's the thing, yeah.
I think a huge portion of it is also the fact that Cadsuane is an Aes Sedai.
Yes.
That doesn't help.
just the fact that she's an Aes Sedai, like, ruins Cadsuane for Rand and will not take her seriously because he's just views her as someone that's manipulating him. Because that's what Aes Sedai do.
Yeah.
Because thanks, Moraine.
This is the thing. That's the thing. Like, I love Moraine. I love Moraine so much. But she did a lot of damage to those boys.
I actually disagree that it's Moraine. Because he missed Moraine, and by the time Moraine disappeared, he was okay with what she was doing. But the thing that happened is that right after Moraine disappeared, he trusted some Aes Sedai only to be imprisoned in the box immediately after that. So there's really much this idea that the only Aes Sedai that he could trust was Moraine, and no, Moraine is not there anymore.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's. I think it's more likely a combination. It's a combination of different things that are creating this aversion to Aes Sedai, and obviously he knows that Nynaeve can channel and all of that, but Nynaeve has not claimed Aes Sedai. She does not claim to be an Aes Sedai, which is the key. Like, you know, she has set herself apart from the Aes Sedai, and she is actively fighting against the Aes Sedai, capital A, capital S. And so, you know, he views her in a different category. She is a woman who can channel.
I wrote that in my note, but I'm very much looking forward to when we'll see Cassione on the TV show, because I'm very interested in figuring out how they're gonna adapt her. She's very rough and tactless in the books, which on TV sometimes goes well, sometimes doesn't. And yeah, I'd be curious to see how she interacts with different characters, how it feels also to see an outsider POV of how she interacts with people, because we also see her a lot either from her POV, which is very specific, or from other people's POV who always get offended by what she's doing. So yeah, and I'll be super curious how the fandom as a whole takes her.
I'm curious as to who they cast to play her.
Same.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing.
Sure,
for me.
would that be so good? And no, I'm like,
me too. Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting. Sure, she would have been fantastic, and like honestly, her being cast as Elida gives me a lot of hope for Cadsuane, because sure, like she plays characters like Elida, characters who are driven and very ambitious and just blunt and ruthless and do not give a fuck. Like, she plays characters like that so well. And so I'm very excited for whoever they end up casting for Cadsuane, because Cadsuane also kind of falls into that same category with a few personality differences, but that same sort of drivenness is there, and that bluntness especially is there.
They could always just say in the show, oh yeah, Elida has a twin sister.
It's just Shuri. Different costume.
Just put her in a green costume.
It's just different hair.
Yeah.
Put some shit in her hair.
Wears a wig.
A wig.
But what's going to be interesting with Cadsuane is that you need to hit the balance that, yes, she's rough and hard, but she also doesn't want him to get too hard. Because she understands that fundamentally, in order for him to be a good leader at the last battle, he needs to keep some level of compassion. And that's what she's trying to teach him.
Yes.
And that's what she's failing at right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you said it perfectly. She's failing at it. There's multiple reasons why that's happening. It's not all her fault. It's partially the situation. It's partially Rand is difficult, and Rand is also severely traumatized. And two things can be true at the same time. Multiple things can be true.
And not seeking therapy for it.
Yes. Well, the only therapist is Grendel, and I don't think we want him going to Grendel for therapy. Grendel
That's why there's no therapy, Aja. Grendel ruined it.
Mm-hmm,
yes.
Mm-hmm.
She ruins therapy for everyone.
That's true.
This chapter has one of the most baller lines, which is, Cadsuane, he said softly, do you believe that I could kill you? Right here, right now, without using a sword or the power? Do you believe that if I simply willed it, the pattern would bend around me and stop your heart? By coincidence?
Yikesers.
I love that line.
Yikes. Yikes. Ooh.
This is terrifying. He's scary now, Rand.
He's Darth Rand.
He is
Dark
Darth Rand.
Rand.
Scary Rand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Do we have anything on this chapter?
No.
It's a
I
good
would
one.
rather not move on to the next chapter. Can we skip the next chapter?
No, let's go for it. A new
do it.
commitment, a chapter with Gawyn. Great. After a few days of travel, Gawyn arrives at the rebel camp and starts a fight with some soldiers to get Gareth Brine's attention. Because apparently you need to fight soldier in order to see the general. What a fucking dumbass. Brine isn't pleased by this, of course, and reprimands the boy for his pride after Gawyn requests his respect and threatens him. Gawyn finally admits to being a fool, thank God, and then they become more cordial with each other. The prince explains that he wishes to rescue Egwene, but Brine tells him his oath prevent him from doing so, as the Amerlin wants to stay in the White Tower. Brine asks why Gawyn isn't in Camelin by Elaine's side, and he realizes the boy doesn't know about Elaine being on the throne, nor the mess that Morgase left Andor in because of Gabriel. They then go to the outer camp where Gawyn saw an Aes Sedai hiding among commoners. When they spot her, they find out this is Sheriam, the Aes Sedai who had been demoted to accepted by Elida and had fled the White Tower. Brine takes both Gawyn and Sheriam to the Aes Sedai camp.
Mm-hmm.
That boy is so fucking stupid.
Listen, I hate that. I hate it. I both love and hate it when this happens in books, because you put two characters that I despise separately, and then you have one character act so fucking stupid that the other character, I have to root for them. I have to be in agreement with them, and that's what happened in this chapter. I was on Gareth Bryn's side the entire time, and that's upsetting to me, deeply upsetting.
It's just like the stupidity of that boy to think that he really wants to talk to his previous mentor, and the best way to do that and to gain respect from him is to assault some soldiers that are just doing their job. Like, I'm sorry, I know that administration sucks. We've all been through that. Just file some paperwork and you'll be able to talk to the manager.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's very stupid. His thought process is just stupid. And I get that he's tired and like,
sure,
whatever, but I don't. It's stupid.
It's oh my god.
He's stupid. Gawyn is stupid.
Yeah. And then the way that he talks about Egwene is so wild to me. It's so wild to me because, like, the amount of assumptions that he makes. First of all, he assumes that, like, oh, she's a puppet. This is something that's being done to her and not a situation that she is choosing to be in. Like, he has no faith in her ability or in her competence. I don't understand. I don't get it. This is someone that you profess to care about and love, and I explain this to me.
Like, you love that woman, but you don't understand that she's a smart lady that's definitely gonna, like, manage her shit together. Like, the thing, like, when he talks about, he literally thinks about, then I'll talk some sense into her and bring her away from all of the Aes Sedai. And I'm like, what sense are you talking about, man? She's a grown-ass woman. If she wants to be with the Aes Sedai, she's gonna be with the Aes Sedai.
Oh my god.
I mean, to be fair, she's not a grown-ass woman. She's like 16.
She is. That's fair.
But-
I think by that time she's more closer to like 17, 18.
17, 18, yeah.
I mean, still, that's not enough.
But
Like,
still,
whichever way you slice it.
I mean, he's the same age than her, more or
Yes.
less.
Yes.
That's
It's-
true. That's true. How old
Yes.
is Gawyn?
Old enough to die.
Yeah, thank God.
I mean, not technically anyone is old enough to die.
True. In his case, it's far past time.
It just, I do not understand loving someone and ignoring, like, what her strengths are.
Well, he doesn't know her. That's the thing.
Yeah, Egwene is 19. It's young, but like, in this world where all of the leaders are, like, Rand is not a lot older than her, like, it's a bunch of teenager, like, young adults having a lot of responsibility on them. And also, like, it's the second guy that does that. Matt also did that when he showed up at the Aes Sedai camp and was like, what are you doing here? I'm like, man, stop always considering that the women that you love and admire, whatever, are just kids. They're not. At least wait to talk to them before making a decision for them.
Yeah. It's rough. It's rough. It is rough. And again, I hate that I'm on Gareth's side throughout all of this.
I will say, Gareth Britton had a baller line here when he's talking to Gawyn, like, near the end of the chapter. He's like, in the end, Gawyn, your mother turned against Andor by embracing Gabriel. She needed to be removed. If Althor did that for us, then we have need to thank him. Like, oof. What?
Oof.
He's not wrong.
I thought Gawyn was going to be like, sword to Gareth Bryant's neck.
Yeah, like, that's the thing. Like, from Gareth Bryant's perspective, he's absolutely correct. Like, he's, obviously we know that there were other things going on, and there were other,
We know that Gabriel was a Forsaken.
Exactly. Like, we know all of that, but to him and to everyone else, that's absolutely correct. It's 100% correct. And when I read that, I was like, oh shit. Damn. Well, and he's not just saying, like, he makes a point to say, like, I'm not just saying that because, she just missed me, and she, like, because, hey, relationships break up sometimes, and it just be like that. Like, this is me being 100% honest.
Yeah. Yeah. He's not even bitter about being dumped. It's just like she was driving the kingdom to the ground. Gareth Bryant actually also had my burn of the week, because there's a sentence that he said to Gawyn: if I instead throw you out of my camp for being a spoiled princeling with too much pride and not enough sense.
Excellent.
When they're fighting it, because like Gawyn is threatening Brian. I'm like, it's your mentor. Why, like,
the audacity.
Do you think you gain respect by like threatening people and not by being smart and to them? Like, I don't know. Sad boy.
Yeah, and it's what really drove, like, the thing that really drove home. I think I would actually really like Gareth Bryant as a character if it were not for the swan of it all.
Yeah.
If it were not for that, I like him as a character. Any scene where Swan is not involved in it, where it's like their whatever the fuck relationship is not mentioned, I like him as a character. I hope that he is in the show with absolutely no connection to Swan.
That would be amazing.
I would love that.
He's a good general.
Yeah.
He's a great general, you might say.
Yeah. He serves a good purpose. Like,
You're proud of that, Matt, right?
I am proud of that. And let me keep it. I have so little these days.
Oh my gosh.
So much pride and not enough sense.
I mean, that's Gawyn. That's Gawyn to a T.
Too much pride and too much prejudice.
The library is open. Like, there we go.
Is there anything else we want to say on that chapter, or do we want just to move on? Okay, chapter 25, In Darkness, a chapter shared by Sheriam and Gawyn, both for 2 very short POV on both sides. The first part, Sheriam is visited by a Chosen who gives her a new mission. I'm not entirely sure who's that Chosen here. So.
I assumed it was Masana.
That's what I assumed too, yeah.
Yeah, because Miss Gawyn is being annoying in the White Tower. So that was... And the new mission is to depose Gawyn and steal the Sleepwalker Tangrels that the Aes Sedai use for their meeting in the Dream World. And she has like 5 days or something like that.
She has like 3 days to go steal all of that. And I'm like, what in the hell?
There's 20 rings and...
Yeah.
Yikes.
Bad management.
Yeah. It's rough. Oh my god.
I just think that the POV was very funny because it starts with Sheriam being like, Alima is gone.
She's so relaxed.
It's nice.
Yes. It was genuinely funny. I don't know if it was written intentionally to be funny, but I was cackling reading it because also all Sheriam wanted by turning to the dark was just to gain power and to vibe. That's all she wanted. She did not want anything else from this. And now she's having to do all of this shit. She's having to speak to Forsaken. She's having to do all of these shady things, and she wants nothing to do with it. She just wants to chill and have a certain level of power. And that's it. And she does not get a break at all. Like, I'm not feeling bad for her. It's just very funny to me. Like, this is a situation she has absolutely put herself in.
She's fucked around, now she's finding out.
Yes.
She joins that secret society because everyone from that secret society was getting like higher position and privilege, and she was like, that's nice. And she never expected to actually have to do anything for the secret society. And now she's like, well, fuck.
She wanted the benefits with none of the work. So there you go, girl.
I do appreciate that even Messana is tired as fuck of Egwene.
Yeah. just the annoyance really does come through when she's like, yeah, we didn't expect, like, she's basically saying, we did not think that this young woman was going to be as competent as she has been. She is causing a problem for us, which delights me. It's so good.
She's having issues.
Yes.
She's causing problems, and she is now an issue.
She has proven to have been a poor choice. We needed a child, not a woman with merely the face of a child. She must be removed.
Like, all of these Forsaken are thousands of years old, and they're all, like, being done up by this 19-year-old girl.
Little upstart.
Yeah.
It's just, sometimes I think about the level of power that all of the 5 from the Two Rivers 5, or whatever we call Emmonsfield 5, that they all amass throughout the series. And I just imagine all of these adults and all of these people who previously had all of these, like, crazy amounts of, like, whether it's political power or, like, channeling, like, whatever the case is, and having to recognize that these kids are their superiors when it comes to power, and are just, like, controlling and handling so much shit. And I'm sure it has to grate on people. Like, it's gotta be just like, you know, like, I just think of Moghedien when Nynaeve handled her, and it's just like, that's embarrassing. That's so unfortunate.
That's embarrassing. You know what's
so
embarrassing? I was thinking, like, when you were talking about that, I was like, damn, the high school reunion at Emmonsfield maybe is quite shocking. You're all farmers or maybe a little bit of a soldier during the war, but you're having your, like, lazy, cozy life. And then you've got those 5 fuckers.
5 fuckers.
One is
5 overachieving fuckers.
Showing everybody off.
Yes. And I'm like, maybe we should not invite you to the high school reunion. This is kind of offensive to everyone who thought they were doing okay with their life, actually.
Yeah. God.
And
man.
And after that, we move to Egwene. After the dinner with Elida, Egwene is imprisoned in a small cell with a limited time for visitors. Still, some come, bringing news. Sean, the White Sitter, informs Egwene that Elida will be tried for beating her in front of multiple sisters, and that her accusation of Egwene being a dark friend will not stand. However, it won't be enough to depose Elida. Meanwhile, the Dark One's touch is still affecting the tower. Egwene reminds Sean that the Ajas needs to keep their attention on working together as the last battle approaches. It's very short POV. It's mostly, hey, what's going on in the tower right now? Some consequences for Elida, but not a lot. And Egwene is still on a single mindset. We need the tower united. Even in a prison cell, she's a better leader than Elida.
Yeah, I mean, Elida's just so incompetent.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It was good. Like, it's always nice seeing Egwene, you know, in her element, and very much, you know, displaying how competent and effective she is as a leader, and seeing the contrast to people who are not that at all. And so, yeah, it was short, but it was a good chapter. Good little bit. Yeah.
I do find it interesting. At the beginning of the POV, it's Gawyn in that cell. She's basically still wearing the clothes she was beaten in, and the only reason why she still see anyone is because by Tower law, she, like the Red Aja, can't refuse her visitors. And she still has a moment where she's surprised she's getting any visitors. But there's, like, in the span of 2 days, a lot of people have actually visited her. We saw one, but there was, like, several persons, including sitters, which surprised Gawyn. But I'm like, girl, you've worked on that for a while now.
Yeah, it's been weeks or months.
Yeah, you've done some good work. Now people are looking up to you and actually, like, requiring your guidance in a way.
Mm-hmm. But I think that's, like, it's, you know, like, I think Gawyn kind of gets this reputation of being, like, that she's arrogant and she lacks humility and whatnot. But I think that's not the case at all, because she doesn't, like, she doesn't just assume that, you know, she is just going to keep all of the support that she's gotten. She's genuinely surprised that, you know, she's still getting it, which I think is kind of a good sign. Like, it's a sign of humility, and not like the sort of bullshit humility that people talk about, but like real humility, where she doesn't feel like she is owed that support.
Yeah, she's not entitled. She's not acting entitled.
Exactly.
Because that's very a big contrast between this chapter and his chapter right before, where Gawyn shows up in a camp, beat up a few people, and expect respect, and Gawyn is assuming she's going to lose everything from being imprisoned, but no, she's worked hard to gain people's confidence and to show that she was smart enough to guide people. Like, she had to prove that she could be Amirlin, both actually in the Salidar camp and in the White Tower. Like, in the Salidar camp, there was a little bit of an intention for her to just be a pretty face and to agree to whatever others I said I would say. But no, she's proven over and over again that she is a good Amirlin.
Gawyn is a good character. That's all I have to say.
Yes, she's a great character. She's not perfect, because nobody is perfect in this book. Of course, you're going to find things that didn't work out.
Yeah, and that would be boring, though. I don't want a perfect character. I don't want a character that, like, you know, never makes mistakes or has no flaws, because that's not realistic.
Yeah. Is there anything else?
No, I think that's all we have for this episode. Longer episode this time, but thank you all for sticking with us.
Yeah, this was a good one. Good set of some great chapters in here, and one
and
that we wish could
chapter.
have.
And the Gawyn chapter.
It's really sad.
Exactly.
Yes. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of The Queers of Time. If you want to find us, we are on Blue Sky and Tumblr, and we also have a Discord. Please join us on our Discord. We love chatting with listeners. And if you want to support us, we also have a Patreon on which you could get an episode with a few days in advance and unedited video recording of the episode. Thank you very much, and see you next time. Bye.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night. Good night for me, indeed.
You can
Yes,
tell where my
for you,
head's
good night,
at.
for sure.
Thank you all for listening. This was Queers of Time, a Wheel of Time podcast. The music is Dance of the Witches by Julius H.